Massive news from Major League Baseball on this. It's still Monday, right? I just want to make sure it's Monday because it feels like a week's worth of news coming in at us. The Houston Astros being disciplined. They were found to have used technology to cheat on their way to winning the World Series in 2017. Instant analysis brought to you by Tylenol Rapid Release Gel Caps. Rapid release for rapid relief. Faisal Kamisa, Ben Nicholson-Smith with you. Let's start with the discipline handed down by Major League Baseball. Then we'll get into the discipline handed down by Astros owner Jim Crane because it is significantly different. MLB suspending Astros GM Jeff Luhnow a year. A.J. Hinch, their manager, a year. Forfeiture of first and second round draft picks in 2020 and 2021. A $5 million fine, the max allowed under the MLB Constitution. Assistant GM, former Astros assistant GM Brandon Taubman on baseball's ineligible list. Piece. Jim Crane holding a press conference after this report has come out with the discipline. That's the Astros owner. He says he has dismissed both Luhnow and A.J. Hinch. The likelihood is, Ben, it'll be a long time, if ever, that they're back in baseball.
Yeah, this is a huge amount of discipline on a couple different levels for Luhnow and A.J. Hinch. I mean, you start with the Major League Baseball discipline, a year-long suspension. That's really significant, right? This is a team that in many ways is still in its prime. We're still trying to extend that prime window with a lot of star players in place. Now they have no GM. Their assistant GM, Brandon Taubman, was already dismissed. So who's running the show? We don't know now in Houston. They're obviously going to have to embark on a search for a new baseball ops leader. They're going to have to search for a new manager. And this is all because of what happened in 2017 with the trash can banging and everything else that ensued.
They were a game away from winning the World Series this year. They were like right there. I wonder what would have been made of that. With regards to the 2017 one, Crane saying, well, this doesn't taint the victory at all. Does it at all in your eyes?
100%.
Right? Like it has to, right? They cheated to win something.
Exactly. And I mean, it's very clear within the report that Rob Manfred issued that the Astros continued cheating after warnings that were issued to the Red Sox and Yankees late in 2017. The Astros continued cheating into the postseason. And look, we don't know exactly what kind of impact it has for someone to be banging a trash can and then a hitter to hear that maybe a breaking ball is coming or a changeup is coming. But clearly, there are rules against that type of behavior for a reason, and teams wouldn't do it if they didn't think it was helping. So it is definitely tainted. They're not taking the title away, and they shouldn't do that, but it is definitely tainted with an asterisk of sorts beside it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, should they vacate their title altogether? There would be no precedence for that at all, obviously, but there are many online who believe that because you cheated to earn something, the thing you earned should be taken away from you. You shouldn't get that accolade. I guess you're of a different belief a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's just hard to do. And even you look back at 1919, right, the Black Sox, I mean, they're still the American League pennant winners for that year. So it's not as though you can rewrite history. We know that Pete Rose, for example, was betting on his own team at times, but he still has those wins or losses in his managerial column. You can't change what actually happened. They won the World Series. They celebrated on the mound, and that happened. But we all know that it happened with some additional assistance.
So Astros owner Jim Crane says he was shocked and disappointed when he found out, hence the dismissal of the GM and manager. But the report from MLB, which was very intricate, very detailed, and very, very thorough, suggested that a lot of this was player-driven as well. No discipline, though, for any player on the roster. Does that surprise you at all?
It is a little surprising. I mean, the way Rob Manfred explains it within this document, which, as you say, Faisal, very detailed.
It is so detailed, which is almost surprising in a way, right?
And it's nice.
You want to deter people from cheating again, so you're going to put everything out there, but this level of detail was, I didn't expect that.
Yes, it's a lot of transparency. Yeah. And then what Manfred says is that it would be hard to really tell who benefited the most, how much did they benefit, and then this is now 2-3 years ago. So even if you determined, these 5 players were the ones who benefited the most from this cheating, well, some of them might be playing for the Mets now, or the Padres, or the Brewers, and in that case, is punishing them necessarily going to accomplish the goals that say punishing Luhnow or Hinch would?
Heck, one is managing the Mets now,
Right.
Carlos Beltran, who seems to be avoiding suspension despite playing a role in this as well. All right, I'm trying to figure out where to go here because there's so many different directions that come from this. Your thoughts on Rob Manfred? He called the culture in Houston problematic, and they were such a likable team. There was a Sports Illustrated article 5 years before they won suggesting they're going to win in 2017 because they were doing things differently. The math, the culture, the analytics around their team were all trending in the right direction after some of the worst seasons in MLB history. They were so likable, so affable. Now the opposite.
Oh, absolutely, on many levels. And I don't think there are going to be a lot of people who are too disheartened by the fact that the Astros are facing some steep punishments. I mean, the draft picks, too, we didn't really mention, but first and second rounds for 2020 and 2021.
It's a big deal.
A lot of discipline. That's a huge cost for that franchise. But, I think that whenever you're talking about some allegations like this, like of course you have to come down and you have to make sure that other teams around the league are well aware that this behavior wouldn't be tolerated.
Well, another team is also being investigated right now. It's the Boston Red Sox. Their manager Alex Cora was on the Houston Astros staff when they won in 2017. It seems like he's taken some of those tactics to the Red Sox, who happened to win the World Series in 2018 as well. There's an expectation that harsh discipline will come down on him for his role, which I guess, given what we saw, would be fairly precedented now.
Yeah, right, exactly. And this is where it's really interesting. You look at the details of the report, and Manfred outlines a system in which Cora is very much, part of this sign stealing. He's one of the people responsible for implementing this system and making sure that it was happening. Meanwhile, Luhnow, Hinch, according to what Manfred uncovered, they were not in the know to the same extent. Now, that doesn't absolve them of responsibility because it's their job to run the team and to make sure that the team is following rules. But Cora is someone who is very much involved in the day-to-day operations, and that could lead to a significant penalty.
All right. Again, this is a story that is significantly moving. A lot of new details coming in at times, so be sure to head to sportsnet.ca for the absolute latest. A shocking day in Major League Baseball. The Houston Astros disciplined like crazy for their role in cheating in winning the 2017 World Series. Ben, thanks for this.
Thanks, Vail.